In a night where most playoff drivers had to be perfect, most actually struggled, but it's a tale as old as time with Chase Briscoe winning the Southern 500 for the second year in a row. That said, though, lots of problems ensued for others. Let's talk about it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Above the Yellow Line on the ATYL Media channel. And as you can see, Dom and I are at Darlington for the Southern 500. What a track. I mean, I'm a little biased, Dom, but this is like my favorite track on the schedule. I mean, what have you?
Yeah, it's so old school. I mean, I was debating all week, should I go, shouldn't I go? And finally, I was like, man, I love this track so much. It's the Southern 500. It's a crown jewel race. Had to come out.
And of course, for the crown jewel race, I guess let's just start with the obvious. Dominating this entire event, rightfully so, winning this race 2 years in a row. Chase Briscoe gets the win. I mean, going from Stewart-Haas Racing, getting that Cinderella story win last year, that final win for Stewart-Haas Racing, to this year, where he believes that he can be a championship for contender. I think he really showed that today.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it's one thing we saw in the spring where William Byron dominated this race, but couldn't close it out because of pit strategy, what have you. But Briscoe, through the pit cycles and through the amazing challenge from Eric Jones and Tyler Reddick, was able to hold the lead and get the victory. And back-to-back Southern 500s, that is so hard to do. It's so hard to win this race alone, but to go back-to-back, I think the last person to do it, I couldn't even tell you who the last person to do it was. I think to Jeff Gordon in the 90s. It could be that long. Actually, Greg Biffle in the early 2000s did it as well. But regardless, it's very hard to do, and Briscoe made it kind of look easy tonight, that's for sure. And in terms of being a contender, 100%. They showed up and showed out today. We've said it a lot this year, like, he's going to win pole, but can he win the race? He did it once, but my goodness, flat-out domination today.
Now, I will say I was disappointed because going for the pole position, he would have swept the crown jewel pole positions this year, and unfortunately came one spot short to his teammate Denny Hamlin, who has some trouble today. We'll talk about that later. But for Chase Briscoe, who said, like, I couldn't believe my face is on a trophy with, like, Jeff Burton, like, and all these, like, crazy drivers, like, now his face is on that trophy twice, so his talent cannot be denied. Obviously, a great call all throughout the race by James Small. I mean, a great effort from that team. And there's plenty of other teams that made statements during this race that weren't in the playoffs. I think about Legacy Motor Club, those drivers. Like, I'm looking at my results right now, you guys. Eric Jones, John Hunter Nemechek, 3 and 4. What a result for them.
Yeah, that team's going to be really happy going back to Statesville, North Carolina tonight. Absolutely phenomenal performance. We were all starting to think, Eric Jones has already done this twice, win the Southern 500. Could he do it a third time with a team that really has had their ups and downs this year? But they've really turned a corner the last couple of weeks, not just tonight. And it was great to see John Hunter up there too, third and fourth, and it was an outright third and fourth, not just on strategy and whatnot. They had the pace, and goes to show all the Toyotas were good tonight. But we weren't expecting Legacy to be the 3-4, so that's something they're going to be really, really proud of.
And I know the big conversation going into the season for Legacy Motor Club is can they make a statement? Last year was pretty abysmal for the team, and I know it's been a big conversation for that team that Jimmy Johnson's now living in the United States again. He's more present at the shop. What can that do for them? Obviously started off the year very strong. Jimmy Johnson as well with his one-off start this year at the 500 with a top 5 finish, and obviously is trying to see those results be more consistent. So it's great to see that for that team. Another great result that kind of surprised me, but this driver's been doing pretty well the past few weeks. AJ Allmendinger, a top 5 finish. I mean, for Colleague Racing, oh my God, like that's incredible for them.
100%, yeah. You think Josh Berry started row 2 for this race, and we were thinking, okay, this could be his chance to really show up and show out. But we've seen this with a lot of different drivers who have a great qualifying. They can't transfer it into the race. The 16 car was in the top 10 for almost the entire race. This was a great performance from Colleague Racing. I know Chris Rice and that whole team are going to be really proud of that. And AJ, you know, we always think of him at the road courses, but how about it at Darlington, a 500-mile race? This is a great result for that team who are trying to slowly get that momentum back for next year, because I know they missed the playoffs this year, unfortunately, but still a great result for that team.
And off topic, kind of on topic though here, of course, Colleague Racing announcing that they're going to the Truck Series with Ram. Pretty big news there. Of course, I asked AJ Allmendinger in the media center this week, I'm like, could we see you in a truck? He goes, whatever Chris and Matt want me to do, I'll do. I'm obviously putting in some good results at the Cup Series level though is a good sign for Colleague, and maybe potentially down the road if, you know, Dodge wants to come to Cup. You never know. Could be their driver. But I digress. We'll move on. We skipped Tyler Reddick in that second position, who was charging very hard to get to Briscoe. But here's the thing. The Southern 500 Crown Jewel race, it's such a momentous occasion. The issue is, and we've seen this the past few years, especially with the Gen 7 car at intermediate tracks, you cannot pass the leader for anything.
Yeah, it was that's the downside of tonight's race. You know, we're happy to see Chase Briscoe go back to back, dominated this race, but the con is, well, he dominated because he couldn't be passed, regardless of if he had a really good car or not. We saw Reddick make multiple runs at him in the final 20 laps, and every time he got close, the air just pushed him away, and it was almost as if every time Reddick got there, he was just pushing Briscoe further out there. So unfortunate that that's the case. It seems to be a reoccurring event with the next-gen car. It is what it is. We're stuck with this car. We know that. But we'll see if these teams can make some much-needed changes going forward that can help with this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see that type of racing. We know Darlington is such a great track. It produces fantastic moments. For instance, again, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Busch last year for the Southern 500 was a crazy occasion. But again, the type of racing we see with the Gen 7 car with the aero plagues this event. Obviously, I asked a lot of you all on Twitter what your thoughts were. Some of you guys said solid race, some of you guys said boring. But there was nothing that was great. So that's unfortunate, though. But, getting kind of back on the rails here with the results, though, a great result for Bubba Wallace in that sixth position. Going into the playoffs, he's like, my mindset's different. It's like, what will happen will happen. I've never seen him, that calm or that at peace, especially, with going into the playoffs. It's a huge deal, but I think for him, obviously, back in 2023 when he was in the playoffs, it was, I didn't know until Daytona was over. This time, he knew a month in advance that he would be in the championship fight, so I think helped him a little bit today, and obviously flawless execution from him, and not even that, just from the entire 2311 organization, I should say specifically, though, Reddick and Wallace.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, 2023, they showed up to the first race of the playoffs just relieved that they got in. This year, they showed up with confidence because they had the time to prep for the playoffs. They got that win. They earned that win, and they move in to the playoffs with some weeks to spare in between from that win into the first round of the playoffs. So they came in with confidence. They came in with speed, too. Obviously, we know Briscoe was out in a league of his own. Reddick was close, was the better of the 2311 cars. But regardless, the 23 was up there. Same with the 16. Likewise to the 16. Was up there all race. Was competing with his competitors very closely. Had some really good passes, too. I saw him in the 16 were going at it for a while. Same with the 43. They were all kind of just in between each other for a lot of that race, but raced each other clean, raced each other respectfully, and we got to see some great action from that. Obviously, we want to see a battle for the lead, but we did get to see some action there.
The story of the day really was just how strong the Toyotas are, not just in this race, but at this track in general, especially over the past few years, because right behind Bubba Wallace, his team owner, Denny Hamlin, who rebounded from some issues on pit road. The rest of your top 10, of course, we have Kyle Busch in 8th. Great result for him, all things considered. 9th, Carson Hocevar, who, again, rebounded from multiple issues today. My God, poor Carson. And in 10th, Chris Buescher. A good result from him. I know the entire RFK organization was really bummed to not make the playoffs. I asked Priest, Buescher, and Brad kind of their thoughts on, what do you qualify as success for this season? Obviously not in the playoffs. Does that mean this season is a failure? And Brad was like, we need to win. And Priest was very transparent and said, we all said that it wouldn't be a successful season if we didn't make the playoffs. So right now they're seeing this season as a loss, which I understand, but I think we've seen them play spoiler in the playoffs before, right?
Yeah, Chris Buescher won Watkins Glen last year when it was a playoff race. He wasn't in the playoffs. So they've done it before, and they can do it again for sure. But yeah, I agree. We had high hopes for this team in the offseason coming into 2025, and for all three to miss the playoffs is pretty wild, especially for Buescher and Priest. Priest really came out of the gates swinging, too. Looked like he was going to get himself a win early on. But yeah, Brad, it took a while for Brad to get going, and Buescher just, same with Priest, just couldn't get himself into victory lane. But it just goes to show you how hard it is to win NASCAR Cup Series races.
100%. And I think when we go into Darlington, it is really hard to perform so well at this track. And not only that, I've been very transparent with you all on our live shows, in this show here, that I think Darlington should be the race before the playoffs hit, because it's okay, this is your last chance, let's earn it. But Darlington to start the playoffs is a congratulations, you made the playoffs, now show me why you're here. And we definitely saw that today with multiple issues. Let's even start just with lap 1 for Josh Berry. I know some people have him as a sleeper pick, at least to make the next round, but got loose going into turns 1 and 2 and just lost it. People collected, Alex Bowman collected in this, Kyle Busch. It was not a great way to start the playoffs. And then Tyler Reddick, by the way, with a save there. That was insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy to go side by side through these corners, regardless if it's a restart or during the race. It's so hard to do. And then when you just see how sensitive these race cars are, one little overcorrection and you're gone. So nothing Josh Berry could have done there. It's the first lap. You're trying to hold on to your position. And yeah, I mean, you saw the donut on the side of that 45 car, how he was able to keep it going and not have any damage other than the cosmetic stuff. That's a huge break for that 45 team to finish second. So goes to show you what that did for him. But yeah, Josh Berry, that's just so tough. The worst possible way to start the NASCAR playoffs. I know he wasn't the big favorite to win it all, but he's in it. So you want to see him have a good run. Unfortunate.
Yeah, on the live show, I argued for him to make it past the first round, just kind of as a dark horse pick. And I hate to see that it happen, and super disappointing for him in his first NASCAR Cup Series playoff appearance. And I want to read off here, I have notes here about the other issues that playoff drivers had. SVG, from the start, just struggled. I mean, it was a lap down, 2 laps down at one point, got it back. Just was not the race for him for a track that he loves. So that's one issue. Obviously, for Alex Bowman, was caught up in that first wreck. A horrible pit stop on lap 68 that lasted 40 seconds. Like, we don't really see that anymore for a normal green flag stop, but the gun did not work to get that tire tight. There was a miscommunication there. I think it was it Jeff Burton that did a really good breakdown, I think, on the broadcast for that. But, I mean, awful for them. Briscoe, actually, we weren't sure he was going to make it through the race. He had a voltage issue and an alternator issue that we weren't sure would take them out of contention for the win, which would have been devastating. Continuing on with the list, pit road issues for Christopher Bell. He finished, I believe, outside the top 20. And it was just because he ran into Carson Osvar while he was exiting his pit stall. You have that. Chase Elliott, slow stops. Was not a good race for Elliott, but he's also just not great at this track to begin with. Again, Denny Hamlin, pit road issues. Austin Dillon got into the wall a little bit, got loose. Cindric, honestly, Cindric was pretty flawless this race too. What a win for Cindric here.
Yeah, for sure. And to continue on with that, I mean, we see how I'm dressed. We know who I was rooting for.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's honest. He just didn't have the speed today.
Yeah.
He really didn't. You could see he was getting beat in the center of the corner and on turn 3 entry. 22 car just was struggling. He was only good on the short run. And then once we started to get 20, 30 laps into the run, man, he was just getting killed out there. So unfortunate start for the 22 team. But it is an odd-numbered year, Taylor.
It is an odd-numbered year, and we know the playoff trend for that 22-team odd-numbered years. It just doesn't work for them. I know Joey wants to go back-to-back and, prove a point, and we can talk about the playoffs and the system all day long, but just was not a good start for that 22 team. I think it's time that we get into where our kind of playoff field is right now after this race. Looking at my notes here, right now under that cutoff line, -3, Joey Logano, -8, Austin Dillon, -19, Alex Bowman and Josh Berry both at -19, right above that cutoff line, SVG +3, and you see he was ranked, second, third, something like that going into the playoffs. That 4-win points gap, gone, essentially, but it's kept him above the cutoff line right now. Chase Elliott +9, Christopher Bell +11, Austin Cindric +12. But I think what was interesting, I don't know if you all follow Zach Sterliono on Twitter. Give him a follow. Great insight. Does awesome work with NASCAR here. I know you guys work together. Oh, yeah. But he said that before the playoffs started, they did an anonymous survey amongst the drivers. And one of the surprises that the drivers had agreed on is that they think that maybe Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott could be early exits in the playoffs. I don't know after the performance today if you see that being a possibility with the races we have left.
Yeah, I mean, tough break for the 20 team. Tough break for the 20 team, that's for sure. As for the 9, I mean, just where was the speed? I think they're kind of in the same boat as the 22 team. They're kind of just scratching their heads after this one. It's a tough racetrack. It's such a tough racetrack, and we've seen the 9 struggle here before. So obviously I know he's got that Xfinity Series win from his rookie year in 14, so people are going to say, well, he's good at Darlington. He's won there before. long time ago. It's a tough day for the 9 team, but this is the perks of all the points that you've accumulated throughout the year. You can have a not very good day to start your playoffs, but you know your next one could be a really good one for you. So knowing these teams the way they are, they will rebound. I don't see Hendrick Motorsports scratching their heads on speed for multiple weeks in a row, and same goes for Team Penske.
And you got to think, too, we have Gateway coming up on the schedule, which is typically pretty good for the Fords here. So I see it being a pick-me-up for Joey Logano. And then you have Bristol to end the round of 16, which, as we know from earlier this year,
it's a Hendrick playground.
Was great for Hendrick. So I think there's chances to rebound here. But obviously, as we know with the first round of the playoffs, we could see some major upsets. But that said, though, let's rate this race above or below the yellow line. Like I said, Darlington. My favorite track. Love this place. If we could have a race here every weekend, I would love it. I know that's not the case, and I know we can't do that. But, again, a little bias. That said, though, the product that we had continues to be a little lackluster. For me, I'd give this race a 65%. Is that too harsh, or do you feel like I'm kind of on the money there?
I'll go 70. 70 to 75 for me. I mean, it's a crown jewel race, so it always gets that benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? But also, I personally consider the Bristol night race a crown jewel, and it was a snooze fest last year because of Kyle Larson. But credit to him, he just had a really, really good race car. But we've seen it happen before, and it's unfortunate that they can't pass as well as they can for the race lead. But for me, it's a crown jewel, and for that, I put it at 75.
Yeah, okay, I'll move up to 70.
Okay.
I'll do 70 here.
That's a good compromise.
Yeah, I'll find a middle ground here. But let us know what you thought about this race in the comments below. And if there's anything we might have missed talking about, let us know in the comments below too. And we'll make sure to catch you up on all of that during our live stream this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of Above the Yellow Line from the track. And of course, for more stories from the race weekend, more clips. We had a great interview with Jeff Burton I did today during Media Day. Just make sure to check that out at the ATYL Media channels. But for myself and Dom Joseph, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.